Welcome to Modified, a podcast about web dev and tech news that piqued my interest. I'm your host, Richard, and I'm looking forward to this episode. So the digital cosmos just got a tad bit more rad, and I'm not talking about the recent release of the sci-fi video game Starfield, but about the newest 3.0 version of the Astro framework. So, pop quest time. What was once a superpower only JS single-page apps had, but now everyone can enjoy? It is, of course, the View Transitions API. And with Astro 3.0, we're finally invited to the party. So slide, morph, fade, and even let your page elements boogie across the page without missing a beat. And just when you thought this party was all about the dance floor, here comes the buffet. Components now also render up to a whopping 75% faster, and with major SSR enhancements, your content is delivered faster and fresher straight from the oven to the table. Ever heard the phrase, "A picture's worth 1,000 words"? Astro just added a few hundred more to that. With image optimization in full bloom, you can now strut your stuff with pictures, and Astro makes it pop. And for all of you React fam out there, the fast refresh will literally leave you refreshed. And our HTML's gotten a spa day, coming out sleeker and more relaxed. We're talking minified HTML, organized class attributes, and efficient CSS inlining. If you're itching to dive right into this Stardust-filled universe, don't fret. Astro 3.0 is ready for takeoff on NPM. Blast off to a new project, or if you are already an astronaut, there's an upgrade guide to navigate you through the galaxies of change. You know they say the universe is expanding, but with Astro 3.0, the web universe just got a lot cooler. So hey, who needs real space when we have web space, am I right? The results from the State of CSS 2023 survey are in, and as promised, we'll talk a little bit about the conclusion. So let's dive into the sizzling trends of our beloved cascading style sheets world. Now, if you've been noticing that cool CSS features are rising in popularity, you are not alone. As these new features bloom, CSS frameworks are sorta taking the back seat. Can you believe that? You might be thinking, why the switch? Well, it seems like no one's got time these days, and since modern browsers are speeding up and embracing the new, why would you want to wait to use the shiny new CSS things? For instance, ever heard of nesting or the tantalizing has feature? Yup. These features are essentially becoming the cool kids on the block. And speaking of cool, I've got to give a shout out to my CSS darling of the year, the text wrap balance. One line and voila. It's like magic for those pesky headlines that leave the last word feeling all lonely. It seems that some devs have been crying out for features like animating to auto or that tricky masonry layout. And with initiatives like Interop, browsers are coming together in harmony, cue the kumbaya, and the dreams that seem too wild might just come true. So, cheers to dreaming big, web warriors, and excited to see what the next year of CSS might bring for us. If you have ever dabbled in the web dev scene, or listened to past episodes of Minified for that matter, you might have heard of Rome, the fantastic toolchain that tried to shake up the web developers' universe. Well, hang on to your hats, folks, because it seems that Rome is dead and being replaced by Biome. So, what happened to Rome? Well, this story is like a roller coaster, with highs and lows and all the thrill. The Biome core team, our main storyteller for today, embarked on a journey with Rome. From joining the project when it was just a little TypeScript sprout, to riding the startup wave with Rome Tools Incorporated, and, unfortunately, witnessing its demise. A bittersweet end. But here's the plot twist. Some of the maintainers have kept the flame alive, contributing to Rome in their free time, and soon enough, a community of open source magicians rallied around the project. But alas, there were some roadblocks. between lost admin rights, unclear ownership, and let's not forget the naming chaos because, naming things is the hardest problem in computer science, it was time for a fresh start. So enter Biome, named cleverly by fusing bis, meaning second, with Rome. This project is all set to continue Rome's legacy. And if you're panicking about your existing Rome package, no sweat. The Biome crew has got you covered with simple switcheroo steps. Plus, they've baked in a fresh batch of features and fixes. A huge shout out to the stellar core team behind Biome and all the contributors. They've been tinkering behind the scenes, doing all the coding wizardry to make this transformation possible, and for their invaluable insights and support. So to wrap it up, if you were a Rome fan, it's time to pack your bags and embark on a new journey with Biome. All right, folks, gather around your speakers because we've got some fresh Node news to spill. So Node v16 goes end of life today, but let's talk about the new current version, Node version 20.6.0. With this newest current version of Node, env files just became your BFF because Node now has built-in support for .env files. So if you're thinking of storing your secret password for your mom's chocolate chip cookie recipe, now you can do so with process.env.cookiepassword. Now, how about some ES modules gossip? Import.meta.resolve has taken off its training wheels. It is the cool cousin of require.resolve in CommonJS, which brings us one step closer to Node and browsers to be on the same page. And speaking of modules, if you fancy customizing your Node modules, you are in for a treat. There's a brand spanking new Node module API register. So previously, if you wanted to communicate between the main app and the hooks thread, you had to send a pigeon. Just kidding. It was the experimental loader flag. But now you can just use the new shiny register from the main thread, which is like sliding into the DMs of your app. Oh, and those authors out there crafting module customization hooks, here's a cherry on top. You can now play with both ES module and CommonJS in the load hook. And for the C++ geeks among us, Node's got a new toy. Node C++ add-ons now come with experimental support for Oilpan, which is basically V8's garbage collection BFF. They are so tight now that when Node starts, it goes like, hey V8, got your CPP-GC C++ garbage collection library? Cool, I've got your back. And lastly, for the developers trying to bridge the gap between JavaScript and C++, there is now a helper function to make the V8 garbage collector's life easier. The future might bring an official method, but for now, Node has provided its own bridge. Because sometimes you've got to build your own bridge to get to the other side. Thanks for tuning in to Minified. If you like what I do, make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and share it with your friends and colleagues. Catch you later.